The latest exhibition by the Slovenian alien Poggi has left us all ecstatic, and his own rivals are no exception. Take Christian Evenepoel, the cyclist who takes stimulants legally thanks to a TUE. He couldn't understand how Urska Zigart's boyfriend took more than 3 minutes off him in a classic like Lombardy. He even declared that being second behind this monster from outer space is a victory. But then there are many fans who've seen the fourth long-distance attack of the world champion in the last 4 competitions that he's won, like our friend at Lanterne Rouge, Carlis Ozols, and they are intrigued by the data. Carlis Ozols told us that the data during the ascent to the Colma di Somano was very interesting. That's where Poggi attacked and took a lead of over a minute on his pursuers in just a few minutes of riding, and he didn't even go full gas during the climb. Data of 6.74 watts per kilo for 24 minutes on the first 10 kilometres of ascent. Data far superior to that of Quickstep's Pizza Hut boy, who managed 6.48 watts per kilo for 25 minutes. Data that for Ozols would have been good in the last decade, before the advent of sugar and equipment that have turned the Slovenian mystic into the reincarnation of Fausto Coppi. That's according to the journalists at L'Equipe, for they no longer know with whom they should compare Poggi. Perhaps a doped monster like the Hulk, or with an alien like Roger Smith, or with an Italian alcoholic womanizer. But perhaps the most horrifying fact about Pogacar's performance in Lombardy is the speed that he logged on his Strava data during the transition section between hills once he'd made his attack. We could see how the Saunier Duval rider, without a particularly aerodynamic posture, or even giving the impression of going at full speed, pedalled 3 kilometers per hour quicker than an accomplished rouleur like Christian Evenepoel, and almost 5 kilometers per hour faster than the chasing group. A performance superior to that of even the White Kenyan Chris Froome after bombing a Giro d'Italia with 80 kilometers to go in Finestre. Now that performance effectively ended the career of Sylvain Adams' top swindler, but now it's been reproduced by the cyclist who's completed the best season in the history of cycling. And what's worse, Mo, our dear insider at the Emirati team, has told us that the best version of Poggi is yet to come. We've seen that his data in Lombardy is better than that achieved during the Tour de France, where he beat up all his rivals. And fear not, he will be working more and better than ever with his miracle coach, Javier Solà, and with the trainer and physiotherapist, Alex Bacilli, to improve his aerodynamics, because he wants to end up conquering the world and winning all the races on the calendar, and it won't be until 2026 that we see what he's capable of. However, this is starting to tire and bore everyone who's not a fan of Tadej Pogacar, and it's hurting the bookmaker mafia and pissing off a lot of people. So, on this occasion, we can predict that, Mo, you're wrong. Follow us on our personal Twitter @UncleCycling for more cycling content, and of course subscribe to this channel for more videos. And now, let's move on to look at what the cycling world is going to try to do, to attempt at least, to stop Poggi, the man who in 2024 was absolutely unstoppable. Many believe that the only cyclist who can beat the alien Poggi is the Danish anchovy, Jonas Vingegaard, because he's always a Dane. Okay. Now, it's obvious that the Rabobank team has been experiencing an epic slump after the anchovy and the Gregario of Gregarios, Jorgensen, simultaneously won Tirreno Adriatico and Paris-Nice, all that way back in March. Crashes and injuries suffered by the Danish Fish and the Belgian bot Van Aert have certainly affected the performance of the team, but everyone thinks that they wouldn't have come close to either the Slovenian alien Poggi or the Saunier Duval outfit's impressive 81 wins. Many put it down to the loss of the Slovenian skier Roglic. Others put it down to a wake-up call from the UCI after the embarrassing display of winning all 3 Grand Tours in 2023, even going so far as to top the podium with 3 riders during the Vuelta. Now, this theory makes a lot of sense if we look at the performance of the winner of that 2023 Vuelta, the Andorran Sepp Kuss, a nice domestique who was king for a day, but he's had an absolutely disappointing season, with only one victory in a race without big rivals like the Vuelta a Burgos, and far, far away from the lead in most of the competitions. One of the worst defences of the red jersey in memory. We can also see it in the young Belgian, Jan Uijtdebroeks, who, while he was with the Anchovy in the first races of the calendar, he was flying, and it seemed that he was going to explode in the Giro d'Italia, where he was going to be the leader. But right there began strange problems that will definitely change his career. Strange, cursed COVID-19 mixed with iliac artery problems. It's piled up the excuses for the underperformance of Uijtdebroeks, who hasn't been well suited to the potion of Rabobank. And the Rabobank that, of course, this year lost Merijn Zeeman, the architect of the legendary skill Shimano, of the retired at 29 Marcel Kittel, the John Degenkolb who won Monuments, and the creation of the great all-rounder Lil Poop Dumoulin. Now, he made the leap to Rabobank to pass on his wisdom and create monsters surrounded by doping like Antoine Tolhoek, who today is in the team of dopers that's Sabgal Anikoller. Oh, we mustn't forget Michael Hessman, the forgotten cyclist, who exemplifies how clean the Dutch team was. But despite all these changes and injuries, the Danish anchovy Vingegaard has been the only rider of the season who's been able to catch the alien Poggi after he made one of his now classic, very hard attacks from far out. Jonas was able to beat him on stage 11 of the Tour de France with a miraculous performance for someone who's just suffered a hard, severe pneumothorax. As is always the case with this very strange Danish cyclist, Vingegaard abandoned the season after finishing second in the Tour de France, deciding to devote himself to his work as a father, following the advice of this channel's friend Bjarne Riis. The always wise bald man never raced beyond the Tour de France, except to make a little extra money. And he knows that the throne of cycling goes to whoever wears the yellow jersey at the end of La Grande Boucle. Imagine if Poggi had won Liège and the Giro and the World Championships and Il Lombardia. It would certainly have been an epic, historic season, but no one would be talking about invincibility or saying that cycling is boring, because in the most important race of the year, someone would have beaten him. That's why the tired eyes of not sleeping after getting up at 3 a.m. to change the little anchovy's diapers will be focused solely and exclusively on July 2025. And what's more, his good friend Christian Prudhomme has given him a special gift. After a climbing time trial to the Col with garage ramps in Peyragudes, the newspaper La Dépêche du Midi has confirmed that the Port of the Miracles of the Virgin of Lourdes, Hautacam, is returning to the Tour de France 2025. It's a climb where Sonia Duval knows what it's like to sweep the board, but it's also a mythical climb where Riis himself won on the big chainring of his bike, and indeed the Anchovy won in 2022. That was the day that Wout van Aert himself hung the alien Poggi out to dry. One of the most Dante-esque performances in history. It may, of course, be the moment of Slovenian revenge, but it could also be a wake-up call from Prudhomme to the Danish fish, as if telling him, "Warm up, Jonas, you're coming out to play." At this point, it may not seem like it, especially after this 2024, but an exciting 2025 waits for us all. Make sure you stop by the video on the screen. You'll love it!